Attention, attention. Why are some people so ungrateful? Tell me.
I don't like that.
Give yourself an uppercut. Give them nothing. A whole level of... Maybe they're fabulous, maybe they're full of shit. Sharon H. rolling out my weekly dose of unapologetic candidness. Ever wondered why some people are so ungrateful? Maybe you're dealing with ungrateful people. Well, odds are you aren't alone. Keep watching all the way to the end for my no-holds-barred, real raw take on the ungrateful. I'm going to tell you how to cope if you've been taken in by the takers in life. And as I always say, this video is coming from my own perception and viewpoint. Take what advice you want and let the rest slide right off of you like Teflon. And if you like straight shooting, be sure to hit that sub button because you're going to get plenty of that right here. And hit that like button for me right now if you yourself have ever taken things for granted. Perhaps acted a little self-righteous and entitled yourself. Come on, let's be honest here. You hit that like button, I'm damn proud of you. Oh man, I love ballsy, honest people. And if you can't be honest with yourself here, give yourself an uppercut. We are all mere mortals, and sometimes, if only unconsciously, we all take things for granted. We get set in our ways and all the positives in our lives can begin to go unnoticed because they are just seen as a given. We have good people we can rely on, so naturally we kid ourselves into assuming we always will. We have food on our table, a roof over our head, with some little luxuries thrown in here and there. But we work for that, right? They're ours. But if we are completely, utterly upfront here, how often do we really count our blessings each day? I'm hazarding a little guess here. Not as much as we fucking should, right? Here's a little task for you all. Give me 3 things in the comments you're grateful for today. And 1 thing you should be more grateful for. It's funny really, we don't often take notice of things we ourselves are grateful for. But oh man, how quick we notice others' ungrateful behavior shown towards us when we give them something or do something for them. Of course, just because sometimes we may fail to be grateful for our own blessings does not give someone else the right to not show gratitude to us where gratitude is due. But being someone who has been stung more times than I care to admit by the ungrateful in others, it's really made me stop and realize where I myself need to be more grateful. Do I have a perfect life? Far from it, but it's even further from a terrible life. And for that, I'm very grateful. Nothing is guaranteed in life. And one thing I think we've all learned in the last 2 years is everything can change in an instant. It can all be taken away in the blink of an eye. Not one of us are living with the freedoms we took for granted 2 years ago. I think the most of us have lost something. But many of us can be grateful we've lost less than we could have. With this, a lot of us have found out new things about ourselves, our strengths, our capabilities, our adaptability. Yet, in saying this, why there's still so many that are so ungrateful for what we give to them or do for them. It's such a shit feeling to have been generous and giving to someone, only to find out they're an ungrateful, backbiting piece of work who wouldn't piss on us if we were on fire. Yet they had no qualms in taking our kindness and handouts with zestful entitlement. These kinds typically know all the right things to say before we surrender to their needs and give them what they want from us, even if on some level we knew they wouldn't appreciate it. The goodness in us still turned a blind eye to the ungrateful in them. Those of us who give to others, we spare a thought for their feelings and want to make them happy. The ungrateful are thoughtless and oblivious to the sacrifices others make for them. Well, they're all for give and take, so long as it is we giving and them taking. It is unlikely these kinds will ever give much of anything to others, even if they may proclaim to. It's usually all piss and wind. The takers of this world are usually givers of nothing more than hurt feelings and valuable lessons of what to avoid in the future. People that take but never give have never really understood sacrifice, because most they obtain is at the sacrifice of another. These are the kinds that it doesn't matter how much we give to them or do for them, it will never be enough. Their hands will be forever out with the expectancy we shall keep delivering. And odds are when the benefits stop, so too will their niceties. Our name can fast turn to mud and be spat out horrendously, betraying us as the shitty human to anyone in earshot. When we've given until we can give no more, how fast these people can feel blighted and vengeful. How fast they knock us down sooner than look at us. When they can no longer gain from us, they will do anything they can to diminish us and our character, often depicting us as the takers and they as the givers, deflecting everything they have done to us, everything they have taken from us, as though it is we taken from them. Sad part is, they're usually pretty adept at feigning sincerity and playing the victim. The very same fiddle they play to enable our generosity, they will play to gain another's sympathy. And so the vicious cycle of give and take to their benefit continues. One of the best ways to avoid being used by the ungrateful is to realize that many people are selfish. If we are prepared to carry the load all the time, why would they not let us? These kinds of people even try to twist the narrative by calling the generous selfish because it makes us feel good to help others. Well, if this makes us selfish, what a fucked up world we live in. Anyone who would try to turn someone's giving nature into a blight on their character, in my opinion, is nothing more than a deflecting douche. My mother has always warned me that I'm giving to a fault. And in recent years, I've learned to be more careful where I extend my generosity. It's pretty bloody sad that the entitlement in others has had to serve as a detriment to my nature. But generosity has a lesson to be learned unless used with caution. The best way to gauge another's sincerity is by paying close attention to how they talk of most others. Also, pay close attention to how they treat you once you've given in to their wants. I've given so much to others who I've fast become invisible to until they want something from me again. When we are only seen or acknowledged when one wants something from us, it's a surefire sign to give them fuck all and take them nowhere. This is when everybody should be kung fu fighting. This is when we all should bugger off fast as lightning. Once the hand we have fed another is even slightly nipped, this is when we must pull away and let them feed themselves. Because it's very rare, once these kinds get a taste, they won't bite us hard when we can no longer fulfill their hunger. And the ungrateful are usually pretty fucking insatiable. The thing is, we sometimes allow ourselves to be used by the ungrateful, even when in our heart we know we're being used, because we don't like disappointing or hurting others, or we're worried they will turn on us. But the thing is, if they turn on us, they always were going to anyway. Trust me on this. And isn't it better they turn on us before we lose more? Because let's face it, it's better if we lose them sooner rather than later too. We have to have the self-respect enough to learn it's okay to say no. And it's okay to put our own well-being and livelihood first. Especially when we are being taken for a ride by someone only in it for themselves. The more we allow another to keep taking without anything, least of all gratitude in return, the more they're playing us for a blasted idiot. And odds are we're playing that role well, or we'd wise the hell up. We can live in denial like we are completely oblivious that our generosity has fallen prey to the manipulations of the ungrateful. Or we can listen to our gut instinct and identify the game they're playing. We have to draw a line in the sand on being used and taken from once we sense gratitude is lost on them. Unfortunately, we can trust our generosity will be appreciated, or we can mistrust their intentions. But when we feel ourselves being torn between the two and our inner alarm ringing, it's time to rein in the giving. Fact is, some people we encounter will be grateful for even the smallest things, whilst others we encounter will never be grateful for a bloody thing. Only we can decide when to be giving and when to listen to any giving and act accordingly for our own greater good. Some people have only ever had little and will appreciate much. Some people have had much and will appreciate very bloody little. Sad as it is when we have to limit ourselves and the very essence of how we like to be. It's better than being screwed over by surrendering to manipulations of our generosity. Fool us once, shame on them. Fool us twice, shame on we. We can continue to give in by enabling their insatiable greed for more. Or we can harden the fuck up and give them nothing as we slam shut the benefit store.
Break out of your shell, meet me halfway.